Hi, I'm Shane.
I'm Kelsey, and this is Dixie, and we're Love Hut for Life. We've been on the road now for 54 weeks in our self-built camper / tiny home on wheels, and this week we've been in the Hoosier National Forest finding free campsites all along the way.
If you enjoy this episode, as well as any of our others, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and leave us a comment if you have some time, because if you don't, we don't know you watched.
We left you last week in the Daniel Boone National Forest in Kentucky, where we were both way too tired from the week before to even think about leaving that day. But we did manage to get some hiking in and explore some of the beautiful surroundings.
The Turkey Foot Recreation Area is tucked snugly against the banks of the War Fork Creek and is stocked multiple times a year with trout. The recreation area also features free campsites as well as vault toilets. It was a heck of a find.
It's also really well maintained, leaving you with some great roads to drive or walk through the forest. Watch out for bears, though, and please don't feed them your pizza. The next morning, it was time to hit the road. We had our sights set on our 29th state. Indiana, here we come.
Y'all don't forget to check out our 2 previous videos about more awesome free camping in Kentucky. I have to admit that we have spent more time in Kentucky than we have almost any other state in the country. We love this place. You know, I grew up surrounded by farms as a kid, and driving through the northwestern horse farms of Kentucky, I realized that I had no idea what a real one looks like. They cut the grass in these things.
It was pretty late in the day, but we finally made it to that state line. Over the Ohio River we went once again. Hello, Indiana. I sure hope you're as good to us as the state before you was.
This sunset was certainly a good way to start off, but that meant we were driving into the dark. Gee, these days are getting short.
We found a pull-off at the end of the gravel road and set up camp for the night. We knew that there was supposed to be a lake somewhere near us, but we had no idea how close.
It was up to Dixie to rouse me out of bed, but once she finally did, it was certainly worth it.
Hoping to get a little further away from the road, we decided to go for a hike and look for the perfect spot to look over this absolutely gorgeous lake.
The spot this girl finally settled on was literally 50 feet in front of where we were currently parked, which meant I had to zigzag through trees.
More like 200 feet, but this might be one of my favorite camp spots that we've found in this part of the country. We had this pier and this whole little lake to ourselves for the night, and I was ready to make it home.
Kels went and did a little more exploring while I got started on a sunset dinner.
What you making, baby?
We're tries. Want some?
We ate dinner and snuggled up in our chair to watch the sun go down and the stars come out.
The next morning, neither of us was ready to leave, but we knew that there was more of this beautiful forest to experience, and we packed up and said goodbye to our private little pier.
You know, outside of there being a few more hills involved, this place doesn't look a whole lot different than East Texas where I grew up.
One big difference is the amount of free camping in this forest. It's limitless.
Saturday is opening day for shotgun season, so it's a little full right now, but seeing it this full tells you just how many spots there are. Every single time we turned a corner, there was another possible spot to camp.
We haven't seen a forest this accessible since we crossed the Mississippi River.
When we found this one pretty far away from the rest of the crowd, we knew that it was the perfect place for us to hang out and just relax for a few days.
We all spent the evening outside until the sun went down and the rain started.
We made some dinner and hunkered down for the night.
Since we were going to be staying for a few days, I decided to finish up a few projects I'd been putting off, like fixing our awning that broke in a rainstorm in Texas.
And also fixing the switch on our exhaust fan over our bed.
But mostly we did a lot of this, sitting by a fire and enjoying each other's company in the middle of the woods.
The next morning, we saw absolutely no reason to hit the road. So instead, we decided to spread out a little bit.
We got out our outdoor shower, our table, and made ourselves comfortable underneath our newly repaired awning.
We hung our newest artwork by Mary and took the opportunity to do a deep clean of the house. You would be surprised how dusty things get when you live in the woods and drive down dirt roads every day.
We had hopes that some friends would be joining us, but the sun went down and it got cold.
Cold enough that we pulled out one of our most important survival items, our onesies. Mary and Zack wound up making it in and getting escorted to their new parking spots by a big pink bunny.
We were thrilled to be back around a campfire with our friends. Despite traveling together, it gets a little lonely out in these woods sometimes.
I love waking up around other vans and tiny homes on wheels, and Bear loves waking up to his big furry friend.
Dixie was just as excited as we were to have her friends back, and we had a big day in store for the whole group.
The last time we met up with Mary and Zack, we all took you to see wild ponies on Mount Rogers in Virginia. Today, we had some bigger animals in mind.
Kelsey and I both heard that there was elephants in these woods, and we've been planning on seeing them since well before the Love Hut was ever created.
Z jumped in the truck with us as Mary followed behind, and we all realized that we were in for a lot more than just elephants.
Kangaroos, emus, antelope, and sheep were just the beginning of our drive through Wilmette Animal Safari.
Mary and Bear followed along as we carefully made our way through these narrow roads. They told us there were no height clearance issues.
Donkey! It's a baby donkey. They're the most adorable people. This camel.
Ever since our time in Arizona, we all have a lot of love for these little creatures, and we're so excited that they were eating out of our hand as we hung out the side of the truck. I think they like the Love Hut.
Even the llamas and the camels love us.
After making the loop, we realized we were a little late coming through, and the elephants had already been moved to Florida for the year. And several of the other animals had moved inside.
Like these guys, I have never been so close to a giraffe in my life.
We were all super excited for this opportunity to walk around and get even closer contact with all of these little creatures. All of them were cute in their own way, but no doubt these guys stole the show.
I need one of these, Kelsey.
Oh yeah,
We need goats.
we need goats.
These are awesome. Hi. Oh, you want some too? Yes. You're like a little doggy. Hi. Everybody gets a little. You want some too? Okay, I'll feed you too. There you go.
Oh, you're big. You're very big.
Look at that guy. I want to make friends with him. Ew. I want to make friends with him.
We headed back in the woods with our van fam behind us, knowing that we didn't have a whole lot of sunlight left to find a spot big enough for all three rigs.
We found a nice horse camp to end our week, but all of us were just a little too cold to do much socializing, so in we went.
Guys, as you can tell, we are freezing out here and more than ready to go south, but we wanted to take the time to say thank you to each and every one of you who are following along. Be sure and check out our Patreon page, Instagram, and Facebook page as well for a more in-depth view of how we live our lifestyle.
And don't forget, if you didn't add a comment before, leave us one now and hit that subscribe button. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace
Bye,
out,
y'all.
guys. See you next Sunday.